What's up guys, it's William from the Grommy with another video. This video is entitled, Does Black Lives Really Matter to Black People? Now just a play on words. The reason why I picked this topic is because from what I can see and from the stats that I researched, it has been shown that black lives doesn't really matter to black people just by the way that we treat ourselves, treat each other. If you look at the stats of black lives in America, the 47 million of African Americans in America, from year 1 to 44 years old, I picked that age range because from 1 to 44 years old, pretty much, you're about healthy. The long-term disabilities like stroke, cancer, heart attack, they don't really come around this time to kill you. So you're relatively healthy from the year 1 to 44 years. The major killers from year 1 to 44 years old for black Americans in America is ourselves. The top 3 killers. The first one is homicide. 30% of us, black Americans, are killing each other. 30% from year 1 to 44 years old. 30% is through homicide, each other. And I know Black Lives Matter, they like to have their protests, and whenever they have their protests, it's always when a police officer or a person from another ethnicity, another race, kills a black person. But this really accounts for a very minuscule number, 0.0001. But this is the one number, the one incident when this happens that we take it to the TV and make it look like this the everyday norm, that the police are always attacking us. But this is not the everyday norm. The everyday norm is that we are killing each other, is the everyday norm at 30%. From year 1 to 44 years old, 30% is killing each other. Knife, gun, all different ways of doing it. Another 25% are killed through poisoning, drugs, drug overdose, car accidents, self-inflicted wounds. So the 30% that I mentioned previously is between each other. Another 25% is what we do to ourselves, to our careless mistakes. There is no boogeyman, there is no white man in capes that's coming after us and killing us in large numbers. It's really ourselves and what we do to each other. And the other 7% of us, YouTube doesn't like this word, so I call it the S word, where we kill ourselves. It's 7%. So when you add those 3 numbers together, 30%, 25%, 7%, that comes up to about 62% of deaths from year 1 to 44 years old is from our own selves, what we do to each other. Now this is an alarming number. Because there was that one time where, other people were killing us. But now it's come to our attention that within the last 40, 50 years, that we are dying at the rate of an endangered species. We used to be the large minority. Now we're a smaller minority. We make up about 13% of the population now. And the fourth one that not a lot of people are aware of, I call it the new middle passage, in between the woman's leg. It would be abortion. Abortion is responsible for killing 19 million black babies since 1973. 20 million black babies. Some could even call this as bad as the Middle Passage, where when whites were bringing black slaves from from Africa over to the new Americas, and they embellished about, 2 to 3 million died along the way, or 10 million, or 20 million. The numbers are all different, but 19 million are dying through the Middle Passage 2.0, as I would call it, in between the woman's leg for the last 50 years alone. 19 million black babies. This is worse. This is more deaths than the Middle Passage of the slaves coming from Africa to Americas for 400 years. That number shrink down to 40 years. We've come more than that. But no one is talking about that. We're always talking about the Middle Passage, slavery, the cops who are shooting us. But no one is ever talking about us as black people. The Black lives really matter to black people. The only reason why Black Lives Matter is having these protesting is largely political and financial. They take one or two isolated incidents and blow it up in the media and say that this is great injustice. But that one white cop makes up such a minuscule amount, 0.00001, of the deaths that's really going on in the black community. But Black Lives Matter never sheds any light or never goes after the real causes of black death. If they really cared about Black Lives Matter, they would point this out and be in the hood trying to rectify these problems, and also blowing up these major thugs, hoodlums that are in the black community. So now, the black population of 47 million, we could have had at least be at 60 million if it wasn't for black abortion rates, and black women lead in black abortion rates. And you'll see that no one sheds any light to this. Now, the crime is higher in black population in the city. We don't know, maybe it could be because of the concrete. That maybe has a positive correlation, but it seems to be that the crime for black people is higher in the city than it is in rural areas. Probably in rural areas, everybody knows each other, so everybody is friendly and they know everybody. But it seems like when you're in the city, there's anonymity and people don't know each other, so things can happen, and so many cold cases go unsolved in the black community. Nobody wants to snitch, nobody wants to give any story, nobody wants to give up any information of how one person died. They always keep it to themselves. And that's another form. Inaction is an action by withholding information that could lead to death, to arrest to the people that caused this damage. And then you'll see when you had these mass protests and rioting, you'll see mostly that the rioting and protesting were in black communities, attacking black businesses, shooting and looting black businesses. And even now, as a landlord, when you have this eviction moratorium, a lot of our tenants who are black don't want to pay rent, and they're using this as an example, as an opportunity not to pay rent, and also hurting us landlords who are trying to run a business. They see your brother struggling, but you don't want to help out your brother by paying the rent, even though the government has given you money to pay for rent, but you don't want to support your brother who owns a house and is renting to you and you're living there for free. And then you get all upset when now that the moratorium's over and he's kicking you out and you're making the landlord seem like the bad guy. After you just received free rent for 2 years, you're shouting out death threats as you're getting kicked out. The lunacy that's going on here. So what can we do as a people to rectify this problem? This problem is not going to come from TV, it's not going to come from schools, It's not going to come from the army, military. The solutions are going to have to come from us, we the black people. And a great way for us to solve this issue is through information, because information is power. And that is why I find that the Manosphere, like YouTube as a whole, will be able to mentor to our young and old. Because with YouTube, there's so many content creators are coming out giving advice to everybody in the scene. You can come in, watch a video, and learn so much. And you will never get this type of advice on TV. They will never broadcast this information. They want to keep this information that will help us hush hush. But that's why when you go to a free form like YouTube and you log into the Manosphere, mostly for black men, we get male advice from other black men on how to avoid the certain pitfalls of life and how we can make ourselves out of this and get out of this situation that we're in. That's why I like the Manosphere. But sometimes you got people in the Manosphere, like Cynthia G, who do these toxic videos of aborting black male babies. Sometimes, even though the Manosphere is there, we have to be a group that discern who's giving out positive content and who's giving out toxic content. There are content creators out there who are just very toxic because they've messed up their own lives, you know, getting pregnant by Pookie and Ray Ray, becoming single mothers, and then they want to go out on YouTube and take their frustration on men there, but don't want to take accountability for themselves. That's another issue. We need to take accountability for ourselves. When you go now, the Manosphere has grown so much that we have so many professionals on there, doctors, lawyers, accountants, you know, real estate gurus. We'll be able to get ourselves out of this through information. This new information that we have out there. But we also have to be vigilant in screening what we're taking in. Because there are content creators out there who are toxic, and you'll see most of the male content creators will point them out and expose them. You see, a lot of the problems is not really physical with us. It's mostly mental. Suffering from self-hate that was, you know, taught us how to hate ourselves. Who taught you to hate your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin? Who taught you to hate being a smart person? You know, you'll see a lot of the music videos, a lot of the TV shows, always making fun of the educated lame. But now, thanks to YouTube, we get to write our own narrative and have control of our own media and know what we're going to put out there and be able to comment. Because a lot of the positive media that deals with black people in relationship are not going to show up on TV. So this YouTube is a great equalizer for this. A lot of times in our community, suffering from inferiority complex, making us sensitive to criticism, viewing others as threats, and being jealous of others. You see that a lot in the rap videos, rap music, all the lyrics about what I got, what you got, and you can't get this. If you try and get this, I'm going to kill this, and all this type of negative stuff that they push on us. That's the only type of media really that you push on BET and largely black televisions. But we're tired of that garbage. When you go on YouTube, you'll be able to unplug from that garbage on the TV and be able to get some good quality commentary from the Manosphere, the Black Manosphere. So this is a conversation for young black folks from year 1 to 44 years old who want to unplug themselves from the garbage that they put on TV, and they only want to mention us when we're doing something bad on TV to reinforce our inferiority complex. the YouTube and the content creators will bring out new things. You'll see on TV always reinforcing the black stereotypes. Blacks have a low intelligence, beast-like, and lazy. You'll never see them promote the positive sides of black people. You only talk about poverty, ignorance, oppression, and violence from the police. These are very small issues. The issue that we need to focus on is our mental instabilities. Most of, the killing from 1 to 44 years old, the homicides, the drug overdose, the car accident, and the self-deletion, it's all mental. Sometimes we feel like we're a prisoner of war, isolated, powerless. But there's a lot of people on YouTube, content creators, that are black, male and females, that will tell otherwise, that can be inspirational, that can teach you a lot of things. You can learn a lot of things and be exposed to positive media that deals with black people. Because you see, we're suffering from wannabe syndrome, lack of self-identity, always bragging about how tough we are, and quick to escalate situations is what you see a lot of these TV shows, movies. But those people have a hidden agenda to reinforce the negative stereotypes. But if you want to see positive stereotypes, keep tuning into black new media that we control on YouTube, which is the importance of the Black Manosphere, where we control our own narratives and show how brothers and sisters can do well. Because it feels a lot of times as a black man that you're disrespected. You're tired of getting stuck in low minimum wage jobs. Some of them always getting clowned, living the rest of their mother while they're going to school and studying hard. They have children but no custody of their children. And then being harassed by the police for no reason at all, suspecting that you do something, over policing in the community. All these negative stereotypes being pushed on with TV. So our major issue with Black Lives Matter, if it really matters to black people, is really mental. For the last 50, 60 years, it's been a mental issue. The only way we can get out of this is through information and right redirection. And that's why it's so important to have this Black Manosphere and have black content creators express their feelings and solutions on how we can fix this situation that we're in. And stop listening to the TV that's glamorizing that 0.01% white cop that's shooting a black man and make it seem like that's our biggest issue. Our biggest issue is ourselves and how we treat each other. Anyways, guys, if you got any comments, leave your comments down below. This is William from Nigaronomy with another video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and bye-bye.